Hi, my name is Taylor Denman, and I'm a master's student at the University of Georgia. And today I'm going to talk about management strategies to maximize your forage nutrition. So starting off, what is forage quality? Forage quality is the nutritive value of a feedstuff that an animal can utilize as a source of nutrition. So it's whatever the animal can consume and whatever the nutrition that they get out of that feedstuff. So since we're talking about forages, I think it's important to understand the plant cell components and how that relates to the forage quality. So pretend that this is a plant cell. We have the inner cell wall the inner cell components and the outer cell wall components. The inner components are going to consist of the things that are easily digestible: your proteins, your sugars, your oils, and your minerals. Your cell wall components, though, are going to be things that are a little bit harder to digest. You have your pectins, you have your cellulose and your hemicellulose, which are broken down by the microbes in the rumen. And then you have this little guy called lignin. And lignin is important because as the amount of lignin increases, your digestibility of your forages are going to decrease. And there's a relationship between lignin and plant maturity. So as a plant matures, it's going to get older, it's going to get stemmier, and your lignin is going to increase as well. This graph is just to show you kind of what I just talked about. As your cell walls increase, your lignin increases, and your digestibility is going to decrease, and your crude protein will decrease as well as your plant matures. This graph is just to show you pretty much the same thing. You have your days of growth on your x-axis and your forage mass on your y-axis. And this blue line right here is going to be the growth curve of the plant, and then the yellow dotted line is the digestibility. So you can see as the plant grows, your mass is going to increase and your growth curve is going to increase, but your digestibility is going to decrease. So what you need to do is you need to try to find the happy medium. You're going to get significant forage mass, but without sacrificing your digestibility of your plant. So why is this important to understand? It's important so you can improve the animal performance of the animals in your system, and also to help you economically to develop a least cost ration for your livestock. So here's a couple graphs just to show you how forage quality can impact your production. This first graph here is showing you weight gain of stocker cattle. This was a study done in Alabama. You can see that when fed endophyte infected tall fescue, which is a little bit lower quality forage, your average daily gains are going to be around 1 pound per day. But if you start feeding them annual ryegrass and alfalfa, your average daily gains are going to increase because it's a higher quality forage, especially with alfalfa. Since it's a legume, it's going to have high crude protein. Your average daily gains are going to be 2 to 2.5 pounds per day. From a milk production standpoint, you can see that when dairy cows feeding a low quality hay, their milk production is going to be less than 9,000 pounds per acre. However, when they fed them a high quality hay, their milk production was significantly higher, even above 12,000 pounds per acre. So it's very, very important, especially with dairy cows, to feed them high quality forage so they can meet their nutritional needs. Same sort of thing with the reproductive efficiency. This study was done in Indiana and Illinois. It was 2 different studies. It was one with tall fescue and one with clover incorporated into the tall fescue. Since the clover is a little bit higher quality, since it is a legume, it definitely boosted the quality of the forage in that pasture. So you can see that the conception rates are actually higher when the cows were fed clover and tall fescue rather than the lower conception rates with tall fescue alone. It's also very important to understand that animals have different nutrient requirements at different production stages. So you need to know your system. This also will help you prevent economically from either over or under supplementing, so you can keep the optimum performance of the animals in your livestock system. So like I said, they have different nutrient requirements. You can see here mama cow is going to definitely have different requirements from papa cow. And papa cow is going to have different requirements from the little baby stocker calf. This table here is just to show you the effect of Bermuda grass and tall fescue maturity on the quality, and then, just a cost of supplementation just to see how economically it can affect you. So when you feed a lactating beef cow Bermuda grass that's a little bit less mature, 4 weeks maturity, your crude protein is going to be 10 to 12%. Your TDN is going to be 58 to 62%. And actually, these will meet the requirements of a lactating beef cow, so you wouldn't actually have to supplement. But if you don't manage your forage very well and you let your Bermuda grass get a little too mature, 8 weeks maturity, your crude protein is going to go down, your TDN is going to go down, and then you're going to have to start supplementing these lactating beef cows. And that's when it starts getting costly, is the supplementation. So how do I manage for forage quality? Just for the sake of time, I'm only going to go over 2 different things. I'm going to talk about utilizing forage mixtures and also grazing management techniques to help maintain the level of plant maturity to keep your quality up as high as possible. So incorporating forage mixtures. You can see here in the picture, it's a combination of rye, annual ryegrass, crimson clover, and a forage brassica. So definitely the addition of the clovers and the brassica are going to help increase the quality of the forage that you have available. And another benefit to this is it's going to help you extend your grazing season. So if you start matching different grasses together and different legumes together, you're going to have a longer period of time that your cattle can graze, because, for example, your rye is going to come in a little bit earlier in the year when compared to your ryegrass, which comes in a little bit later. So you're going to have more days that you can actually graze your forage and an overall higher quality forage. This table is just to show you the differences in quality of your grasses and your clovers. So you have your rye, your ryegrass, your wheat, and your oats. Your crude protein is 8 to 20%. Your TGN is going to be 50 to 74%. And you're going to have quite a bit of yield with these grasses. 4,000 to 10,000 pounds of dry matter per acre. Your crimson and your arrowleaf clovers, since they're legumes, are going to be higher in crude protein and higher in TDN, but your yield's going to be a little bit less. So if you combine the two, you're going to have quite a bit of forage yield out there, but you're also going to be able to bump up your crude protein and your TDN with these clovers added. Also, it's important to rotationally graze just to help maintain the plant maturity that you want, so you can decrease the amount of lignin and increase your digestibility of the forages that you have out there. It's also important to understand that the forage quality is going to be highest in the field than in stored forages. I know people like to break out their hay balers and bale up all that grass that they have, but you need to use your cows as your lawnmower. It's very important because it's going to be highest when it's in the field, and as soon as you cut it and bale it and store it, your quality is going to go down significantly, and eventually you're going to have to supplement. So don't forget, graze it, don't hay it. This graph here we just saw a little while ago, but it's just to reiterate that as your forage increases in maturity, your digestibility is going to go down. So if you can rotationally graze to help keep your forages within the specific days of growth, you're going to see the optimum digestibility with those forages. So in summary, for forage quality, you need to understand the relationship between the quality and the plant maturity. And don't forget that as your plant increases in maturity, the lignin is going to increase and your digestibility is going to decrease. Why is this important? It's important for cost efficiency and also to provide optimal nutrition for your livestock so you can get the highest amount of profit in your forage system. Also, how can you manage your forage quality? You can utilize forage mixtures. You can use clovers and things like that in with your grasses, and also rotationally graze so you can help maintain the plant maturity of the plants that you have in your pasture. This is a quote from a man by the name of Ted Hughes. He stated that our cash crop is grass. Our cattle simply convert our grass into a valuable marketable product. I know sometimes people tend to forget about the grass, and the grass is just as important as the cows, in my opinion. So definitely something to think about. That's Ted Hughes there. He actually won the National Forage Spokesperson at the annual Forage and Grassland Conference this year, so it's very exciting. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. My name and email are up on the slide.